New South Wales is barrelling ahead with plans to open international borders potentially as early as November once the 80% vaccination target is met and a trial of home quarantine has been completed. CEO of the Tourism and Transport Forum, Margie Osmond, joins me for more on this. Margie, we've been here before. Is this going to happen? Could we see international arrivals and departures, at least in some states, by November?
I have a happy, warm feeling about this one, Angela. I think we could be looking at, yes, some overseas travel by November, December. It might still be fairly close to home in that first range, so it might be New Zealand again, which is likely to open to vaccinated travellers without the bubble. It could be Singapore, it could be Japan. It might, even by December, possibly be London. We'll see.
Scott Morrison says he'd like to get all of those thousands of Australians stranded overseas home by Christmas, but he said that last Christmas too. Do you think we can do it? There are thousands of people over in the UK and around the world.
Well, look, I think the difference is now that the two most populous states, Victoria and New South Wales, have come to a different headspace on how we manage COVID. And the fact that there's a major quarantine review, which is going to give us a lot more options than previously, all of this makes me think, yes, I think this is going to be a much happier Christmas than last year. But there are still some things to be sorted. For example, whose vaccinations will we accept for travellers coming into Australia? You know, will we accept Chinese vaccinations? Will we accept Indian ones? There's a whole range of questions still to be answered before we've got a wider look at what travel looks like and people coming back to Australia.
So would you be arguing on behalf of the tourism body that we do accept people who've had the Chinese vaccine? Because at the moment we're getting the impression that it's going to be AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, the vaccines that we've approved here.
Well, look, I'm not a medical person, and that really is a decision for government. But the issue with it is it can't wait too much longer to be decided, because after all, where do you spend your marketing dollar to bring those international travellers in from overseas if you don't know whose vaccinations are going to be accepted? The government is obviously in very extended talks with a range of countries around the world, as we've heard last week, to arrange for our vaccines to be accepted and, fine for travelling into those countries. And that's the sort of baseline stuff that now needs to be dealt with.
So how difficult will it be? I mean, it's one thing to say, OK, airlines, you can come back into Australia, but we've locked them out for 18 months. What are the challenges here?
Well, there are huge challenges, and it's not just because we've been in lockdown. Because the rest of the world is opening up, aeroplanes are in huge demand all over the world. So we've lost a lot of them from